In my project, I only have one player mode. When you press 1, it starts the game. All the aliens move in unison. Whenever they do a march, it animates their sprite and it makes a march noise. It loops through 4 different march noises in a single linked list. They shoot 3 different types of missiles: the zigzag missile, the dagger missile, and the straight missile. When the missiles hit shields, it destroys 1 block of the shield. As I destroy aliens, it replaces the alien with a splat, and then it removes the alien. As I remove more aliens, the aliens move faster. If I press the B button, it turns collision boxes on. I can hit a missile with my missile. Alright, so that was a missile collision. I can shoot a hole through one of my shields to hit aliens through it. Different types of aliens will increase the score differently. So this will make a different score when I kill this alien. So yeah, the aliens are trying to move faster now that more of them have been killed. Collision box is back on. You can see that if I destroy a shield, the collision box for the shield should drop down. And same for this alien column. Got a game over. So after a game over, the game restarts with my high score set. Resets the scores. It resetted all the alien shields. Back to having no bricks removed. From the game over, the screen went to the game over screen, and then to the select screen where I could press 1 again. The collision box is where the grid changes directions when the collision box touches the side of the screen. So the collision box just dropped down to a smaller size when the column was removed. And if I also remove a row, it should do the same thing. Also shrinks down. When I finish the alien wave, the next wave should have the aliens start faster and at a lower level than the previous wave. more missile bomb collision. Alright, I should be finishing the wave soon. Alright, so now it starts off a little lower, and the alien started off a little faster than last time. When I get hit by a missile, it starts a animation of my ship being destroyed while making a noise. There's only one ship left. There's no ships at the bottom. I can shoot away all these shields. Alright, it says game over at the top, and then it goes back to select screen. For the code layout, I have new things called the screen folder, where I have a screen manager that switches between different screens. Every screen has a virtual end scene and start scene. So the select screen will enable its sprite batch manager for select screen sprites, which has to press 1 to start. The game screen for its start scene does considerably more. It constructs its start scene enables its sprite batches and then resets the lives, unmutes the sound, and does the next wave function. So next wave would be similar to when another wave starts, and it calculates the frequency and drop for the wave, so that way it gets faster and lower for each wave. And then it destructs the previous wave, and then constructs a new wave. So on the game start, destruct wave doesn't really have anything to remove, so it just loops through everything from the parent nodes to destroy. But for destruction, when it goes on to a new level, it'll destruct the shields and then reconstruct them. There's no news except for in the constructor, so there's a function called allocate memory, where it does all the news, or allocate game objects by putting them into a game object pool, and then every round it destructs the shield and the aliens and then reconstructs them by pulling objects from the game object pool. So the game.cs is a lot shorter now because it just does all the common objects, which are just the managers, the images, the game sprites, some of the fonts, only fonts related to the bezel, which is what I call the top and bottom of the screen. And then the input, everything else has been mostly moved to game screen, because that's where most of the logic happens with the remaining game objects. So animations, the bombs, missiles, collision, pairs are all part of game screen now. So for Bezel, I also added a life manager and a score manager for handling high score. And then for sound, I added a sound manager to handle the 4 sounds for looping and the other sounds and give them static functions. So the march is actually a linked list for when it plays the sound.